Om Sri Lakshmi Narsimhaya Namaha, Valmiki Ramayana, Sundara Kanda, Chapter 4. Hanuman reaches the royal palace. Summary: entering Lanka at night by placing his left foot, desiring the destruction of enemies, Hanuman hears various musical instruments being played upon inside. He also observes enemies' forces and moves towards the royal gynaeceum, that's women's quarters. Chapter 4 in detail. That Hanuma, the best among Vanaras, the great radiant one, the long-armed one, conquered with his might the best Lanka who is capable of assuming desired form. He then leapt over the city wall at a place that was not a gate. Desiring the benefit of the king of Vanaras, Sugriva, that Hanuma entered the city of Lanka and thus actually placed his left foot on the enemy's heads. That son of Vayu, endowed with great strength, entered the city at night and took the grand road shown by flowers and pearls. After that, Hanuma went towards the beautiful city of Lanka. The beautiful city shone like the sky together with clouds, with its cloud-like houses filled with sounds of laughter and with sounds of musical instruments at the interior, equal in strength to diamonds and clubs, and with windows decorated with diamonds. Then that city of Lanka shone brilliantly, being well decorated by the houses of Rakshasas. These were modern houses which equaled white clouds, which were surprising with the shape of lotus and swastika, and which were auspicious. That glorious Hanuma, performer of beneficial deeds for Sugriva, the king of monkeys, moved around the city of Lanka, which had wonderful garlands and jewelry. For the sake of Sri Rama, he saw the city and became happy too. Going from one building to another, Hanuma saw buildings in various shapes and forms on every side. Hanuma heard a sweet song which was decorated by the sound from the three Sravas, voice, Mandra, Madhya and Tara of love, lone, women like Apsara women in heaven. Hanuma also heard there and there sound from the tinkling of ornaments worn around the waist in the houses of wealthy people, sounds of footfall over stair, sounds from clapping of arms by various and roar of ogress. Hanuma also heard there and there sound from the tinkling of ornaments worn around the waist in the house of wealthy people, sounds of footfall over stairs, sounds from clapping of arms by warriors and roars of ogress. There Hanuman heard ritual chanting muttered by Rakshasas in their house. He saw ogress engaged in the study of Vedas. He also saw roaring Rakshasas who came together to praise Ravana. He saw many spies of Ravana and a big army of ogres which stood surrounding the royal highway in the central zone of city. Hanuma saw those who were initiated into various Vedic practices, those who wore matted locks on their head, those who had shaven heads, those who wore cow hides and other clothing, those who were carrying kusa grass as weapons, and also those who had fire vessels as weapons, those who carried hammers and clubs in their hands, and also those who had worn staffs as weapons, those who were one-eyed, those who had one ear, those who were pot-bellied and with hanging breast, those who had horrible appearances, those with twisted mouth, those who were horrific and also short people, those who carried bows and arrows, those who carried swords, those who carried pistols and clubs as weapons, those who carried excellent parighas in their hands, those who shone with strange armor, those who were not very fat, those who were not too thin, those who were neither tall nor short, those who were not very fair, those who were not very dark, those who were not very hunchbacked, those who were not very short, those who had great brilliance, those who carried banners, those who carried flags, and those who carried different weapons. Hanuma saw many people who had great might, who carried javelins and trees as weapons, those who carried patisas and thunderbolts, those who carried in their hands sling and nooses, those who carried flowered garlands, wearing sandal paste and decorated with best jewelry, those who had various kind of appearances roaming freely at will, those who carried sharp spikes and thunderbolts. Hanuma saw at the front of the inner city 100,000 central protective force, which was attentive and was positioned there at the command of Ravana. That Hanuma saw Ravana's house with golden doorway, that famed house which was on the top of a mountain. Moats filled with white lotuses surrounded it. It was surrounded by a compound wall. He watched the house again and again. The great Hanuma entered secretly Ravana's inner city, which was equal to paradise, rendered noisily by neighing of horses and tinkling of ornaments by chariots, vehicles, and aerial cars, and decorated by auspicious elephants and horses and great elephants with 4 tusks, and by birds and animals in heat. It had beautiful entrances and was protected by thousands of Rakshasas with great strength. Hanuma entered the inner city of Ravana, which was filled with gold, which had a golden courtyard, with a central area decorated by pearls and diamonds of great value and sprinkled daily with water containing superb alocum and sandalwood. Thus, this is the 4th chapter in Sundara Kanda Valmiki Ramayana, the first epic poem of India. Sri Moola Rama Vijayate. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.